I walked in on her laughing in our bedroom with him, a man I had trusted like a brother. My world shattered in an instant. The scent of her perfume mixed with his cologne, the sight of her lying to me for months, and the warmth of betrayal burned into my chest like fire. I froze, unable to scream, unable to move. She caught my gaze, smirking, as if daring me to react. And in that moment, I realized the truth that would haunt me for the rest of my life. The woman I loved, the mother of my unborn child, had chosen him over me. The days after that discovery were a blur of cold silence and seething anger. I couldn't look at her without seeing the betrayal in her eyes, couldn't breathe in our home without tasting the bitterness she had planted there. Every memory, every word, every shared laughter was now a knife in my heart. And yet, the world saw me as the calm, collected husband, while inside, I was consumed by a fire of revenge. She tried to apologize. She tried to explain. She even cried, hoping I would forgive her, that I would forget the affair. But I wasn't that man anymore. That man had died the moment I saw her with him. My mind became a battlefield of plotting and patience. I couldn't lash out immediately. It wouldn't satisfy me. I needed a plan, a perfect plan that would make her regret the day she ever betrayed me. Weeks passed. I watched her carefully, learning her routines, listening to her laughter, noting the subtle ways she flaunted her deception, always thinking she had won. Then came the news that changed everything. She was pregnant. Not with my child, but with his. Her smug confession over the phone was like acid in my veins. She wanted me back, said she couldn't live without me, begged me to forgive her, to pretend we could start again. I felt nothing but cold fury. Every night, I sat alone in the study, plotting. Revenge became my obsession. I didn't care about morality, forgiveness, or love anymore. I only cared about making her feel the weight of her choices. I began gathering evidence of her affair. Texts, emails, secret bank transfers, little details she had overlooked. Each discovery was fuel for the fire inside me. The more I learned, the more I realized how deeply she had lied to me, and the more delicious her eventual downfall would be. I didn't confront her directly. I watched her social life, subtly ruining her reputation among friends and colleagues. I leaked small truths, enough to make her paranoid, enough to make her question who she could trust. I watched her crumble, piece by piece. She started to plead, grovel, promising she would do anything to make things right. But I had no intention of granting her mercy. I was patient, letting her bask in the illusion of power, all while I quietly orchestrated her undoing. Then came the turning point, the moment that would define everything. I discovered he was married. She had been sleeping with a married man, and he had no intention of leaving his wife. She hadn't known, or perhaps she hadn't cared. Her arrogance, her belief that she could manipulate everyone, became her weakness. I saw the opening I needed. I could strike when she least expected it. The trap was set, and the final act of my revenge would be spectacular. By the end of the first chapter of this dark descent, I had become a shadow of my former self, fueled entirely by hatred and the need to make her pay. The seed of vengeance had taken root in my soul, growing stronger each day, and there was no turning back. The day of reckoning arrived quietly, almost unremarkably. She still carried the smugness of someone who believed she could manipulate the world. But I had spent months cultivating her ruin from the shadows. Every misstep she had made, every lie she had told, every betrayal she had orchestrated was now a weapon in my hands. I started with public exposure. Friends, colleagues, and even family members received carefully crafted messages, photos, and evidence of her duplicity. I watched from a distance as her carefully curated image crumbled. She tried to deny, tried to lie, but the evidence was irrefutable. The laughter that had once been hers was replaced by panic, fear, and desperate pleading. I didn't answer her calls. I didn't respond to her messages. I let her drown in the chaos she had created. Then came the final blow. I confronted her on a cold, rainy evening, the kind of night that mirrored my soul. She stood in the doorway, clutching her stomach, hoping for mercy. "Please," she whispered. "I'm carrying your child now. Don't do this. I need you." I looked at her, really looked, and saw the fear in her eyes, a fear I had longed to witness. "You wanted me back?" I said, my voice low and steady. "You lied to me every day, betrayed me with a man you thought you loved. Now you're afraid? Good. You should be." I revealed everything. The evidence, the lies, the manipulation. Every piece of her double life was laid bare. Her world, which had once been filled with arrogance and control, crumbled before my eyes. She fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face, realizing that her charm, her beauty, her deceitful smiles could not save her. I walked away without looking back. She had been destroyed by the very poison she had brewed. Weeks later, she moved out, humiliated and alone. The life she had tried to control was gone. She had wanted me back when she realized her mistake, but by then, it was too late. Revenge had consumed me, and it had consumed her. Her betrayal had cost her everything, and I had ensured she paid every possible price. I didn't feel happiness, not exactly. There was no relief in this victory, only the grim satisfaction of seeing justice served in my own ruthless way. I had become the embodiment of vengeance, and in the ashes of her life, I found the only peace I could, knowing she would never hurt me again. The story ended as it had begun, in darkness, but with clarity. Betrayal, when met with cunning and patience, could be punished. Revenge was not sweet, it was necessary. And for those who dared betray the trust of someone who had loved them, there was no escape from the consequences. Moral of the story: betrayal can ignite a darkness that consumes both the guilty and the avenger, proving that revenge, once pursued, spares no heart.